person closer to you who emptied their bedroom set in the dumpsters over there, and we use that to go back to them to say, absolutely not. But I'll confirm that this is just one setup, and how many of these bridges would need to be put on the property, and go from there. But I think it's something that we have to really start giving more consideration to, just to protect us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Somebody flies through here on a golf cart.
What?
Cuts through here on a golf
Yeah.
cart.
Tricia, you were gonna say?
I was gonna say, I think we need one at both the entrance and the exits, and that way you can see who's coming onto the property.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
The other apartment that we used to live in, they had it that way, so, I mean, they're not all over, they weren't all over the property, so you couldn't see a lot what was going on, but there were several incidents where something happened and they were able to catch license plates as people were leaving, you know, by following the timeline.
I've actually seen a couple of people walk in and they just, I see them walk out, I don't see them walk in, I correct myself, but
Yeah.
they're throwing a couple bags in the.
Because there's only one way in and one way, I mean,
Right.
2 ways in and 2
And they
ways
have, like,
out,
one of
so
those,
I mean, if the cameras were there, that would be helpful.
Yeah, like the shopping cart, you know, that they have, sometimes people bring it to the grocery store, and they have a couple of garbage bags in it, and they just bring, yeah?
Yeah. No.
Oh, no.
Not here, not here.
Not
Yeah.
here.
It's a home, it's a single family.
Oh, no.
They don't wanna pay trash.
So I have an association over off 86 West that has, they put these poles with antennas on, well, they just turn on the light poles, but they put the antennas on them so they can get a relay going for their cameras, so they can have cameras all over the place. They're running from somebody's house.
So they're using someone's personal Wi-Fi,
Yes.
but we could tap into the Wi-Fi that's in here maybe.
Yeah.
Can you ask them a little bit more about it? See if we
Yeah,
can find out.
absolutely.
Any other topic? You were gonna say something, Jared.
I was gonna say, even if we, start with, like one area and like, and just, you add cameras as we have the money in the budget to do it. But yeah, I definitely like the idea of at least starting with the entrance and exit so that we can see who's coming in and leaving our properties.
And then
Yeah.
to get more money, you can add.
Yeah.
Good idea.
Cause it's easier to just spend like $600 in one, in 6 months, and then we have extra, and then if the insurance goes down, hopefully it does, then we have a little more money to put a couple more in, or something, which is like, do it little by little. Or do it,
Yeah. The relay system.
Yep.
Yeah. Does anybody have, Mario?
I was just wondering if you could tell us what happened on New Year's Eve. I was here, I lived here, I had no idea. I was outside, I was in.
It was around 10:30.
We were all partying together.
I wasn't
Yeah.
partying that much that I wouldn't have heard it.
It was about 10:30 p.m. on New Year's Eve. A car busted through the fence along Manatee. Came through and thankfully did not hit the car that was parked there. So very weird. Janet 2 days later had a voice message in her office from the mother of the driver. And say that she wasn't entirely sure what happened, but she believes her son was responsible for the damage. And so Janet worked with her and insurance and all that to get the fence put back up. 10:30 on New Year's Eve, let's be real.
Tire blowout.
We know what that was.
Yeah, the mother thought the top.
You took 2 days, for you to fess up to it. It took 2 days to get whatever was in your kid's system out of the system. But at the end of the day, we don't care because at least they paid for it.
Yeah, they said you spoke up.
And, I mean, there was a point when we were contacting the businesses along Manatee to see if their cameras would have caught anything. So that's why that conversation started with the sheriff's department. He basically, I mean, because it was one of those like perfect storms, right? Fiona lives right there. Her Ring doorbell battery needs to be replaced. Right next door to her, his was buffering because they hadn't done an update. And so it was like the perfect storm of somebody comes through and nothing captures it. So that's what brought about this additional portion of the conversation. So, yeah. Does anybody have anything else about the video cameras or kind of what we're hoping to be able to do here.
There were cameras here at one time. Have they just?
Functional?
Yeah,
Yeah.
inside,
used to
in the
have
clubhouse
cameras.
and by the dumpsters.
They're on the building.
Yeah, when Red One came out and did the Brevo installation and installed the 5 cameras that we have out here, it said that the cameras that we have were no longer functional. They were old, and we wouldn't be able to do anything with them. So, they act more as a, oh, be careful, cause it looks like they've got cameras more than anything. So,
Like she called. Yeah. Or the mom called.
maybe she thought we had cameras, yeah. But no, so that's why, we're not using those. We leave them up because it's like, people think that we've got 45 cameras around the clubhouse, they're not gonna be messing around out there. At least that's what we hope, but yeah, that's what it is. Okay, so Janet, you're gonna find some information for us from that other, and I'm gonna find out from Roxy if that's just one setup. Okay, so next item, okay, consideration of planting pots owner landscaping. This subject came up because of the rodent situation. I spent a lot of time over the last several days learning and talking about rodents. And so when Drew was on the property on Friday, he first of all said, we need to get every single tree that is touching the roof, close to the roof, bushes, cut back away from the roof, because we are giving rats the perfect avenue to get onto our roofs and then into our homes. And so, Dawn, you started the work in cluster 4, you, Roxy, and Mike were doing the work in your cluster. And then came to cluster 1. And I guess I'd like you to kind of talk about, because you're the one who brought it to my attention. Was about just like the risk that we are at in cluster 1 because of the plantings.
Yeah, we were having that discussion, especially with, y'all have the pots, and there's a lot of places where the rodents can hide, but there's also some vegetation in there, in terms of, and I didn't know it until I was walking through the courtyard. There seems to be some vegetables that might be planted, and some food and whatnot. And from my conversations with Drew as well, that will lure them as well. It's food. It's no different than them hanging around restaurants. It's food. So all of these things kind of came into play on Saturday, right? Saturday. So we went back, Mike, Roxy, myself, Laura helped, Susan came out and helped, yep. We were removing a lot of the overgrowth that is right up against the walls. And I mean right up against the walls, and in one corner, when you came in off of 7th to the left, there was a chunk of very tall tree. There were two or three of them that, that were right up into the corner. I mean, I could have climbed it if and gotten onto your roof. We had no choice but to take them down and move it around, try to get some space at your building. Not only that, I mean, you're susceptible to mold, you're susceptible to a lot of other problems with your stucco, with this stuff being against your building. So, you also don't need anything growing up into the soffits, because then the association has to pay for that, and, well, your cluster does.
Are you talking about the specific unit?
No.
No, there were
several.
there was a lot. Yeah.
I got a response from the watering email from a specific unit.
Hers?
No,
Oh,
your friend from Saturday.
okay.
So it just was, we're doing everything we can to alleviate that, and in going around, because I've been around all the clusters as well, with the landscaping stuff, and I believe it's cluster 1 is the only one that has a significant amount of pots in your courtyard. so it just stands to reason in terms of the rodent issue, that it may be to your advantage to remove them, or at least significantly reduce the number, and move them away from, and then the vegetation's another thing. So,
And so like I asked Fiona, who is not here tonight, does she have, and they have no pots in their courtyard. I truly had no idea that cluster 1 was an anomaly until, we had been going through and to discover that it's the only one, and yet we're the ones who are consistently having rat problems. So I went down a bad rabbit hole, because nobody needs to spend that much time on Google, of just what it attracts. I spoke to the Nature Zone salesperson, and he said anytime you have clusters of like plants that aren't well maintained, pots, anything that's a food source, you're welcoming rodents and vermin. And you're getting you're giving them great cover by having the dense population. And so I asked for it to be on the agenda because, number one, I didn't know that cluster 1 was the only ones who had such a large gardening area, but also to kind of have the board talk about, like, is this something that we have to consider cutting back on? You know, because obviously what goes into it as well is, if you have a higher number of rodents, we have to change our practice when it comes to pest control. You know, we had to use stronger poison to get rid of them. And when Drew was here last Monday, so a week ago yesterday, he filled the bait boxes, he added 2 more. He came back on Wednesday, all of them were empty. And he had never seen that level of activity before, ever, which creeped me out. I had 3 of them in my attic after the roofs were done. I did not want to have an experience of them being back in my home. And so that's why, you know, it became a conversation, and that's why I wanted the board to kind of get together to talk about what our thoughts are about this, because it does cost money for the community when we have to amp up the pest control because of it, so.
Does that go into play if we have them come out and find the sources too? I mean, I think there's, as everybody here, we all like having plants and it going out to your courtyard and it looking nice. But on the other hand, if we had them come out and say, okay, well, this is the spot they get in, this is the spot they get in, you know, would that eliminate some of this as well as cutting back? Is it just the one thing, or is it multiple things that is becoming an issue?
There's a couple of things.
Yeah.
So we went to,
Some of them
probably all,
some of them are too close to the building,
yeah.
and the potted plants are definitely too close to the building. And, they did trim back some of them, those banana trees or whatever.
Yeah, we
they're
hacked them
called.
up to try to get them away from the building.
And they cut them down, and that was helpful, that was wonderful that they did that. And got them down, and then we got ourselves chewed out by the owner of the unit because
Not
of-
the owner, the renter.
Well, the renter.
Let's be real, that was not an
Yes.
owner.
And, there isn't much we can do about it, it has to be,
Well-
taken care of, we can't have
I mean,
rodents in people's homes.
the thing too, we saw in removing some of the pots, and because we have had, and I'll even say my cluster, we had one unit where the pots were kind of broken, and the plants in them were dead, and nobody was taking care of it. And we notified the owner, and he still didn't do anything. And so we ended up emptying them ourselves, you know, because how many notices do you give? But there are times where the pots are just, the roots of these things are grown into the ground from the pots themselves, and it's not pretty to see grown women trying to yank these huge things out of the ground. Just saying, but, yeah, not saying it would be easy, but some of these things,
No.
my point being, some of these things have been around for a very long time, I get that.
And part of it too is that as a community, we're trying to have some, you know, uniformity across clusters, what some of the rules are and whatnot, and so that's why we're talking about it. and that's, you know,
Yeah.
so. Yeah. Tricia, any thoughts? I don't know, like Tricia, in cluster 5, do you have any, Mary's here too, but do you have any potted plants and gardens that are going on?
We just have a resident that takes care of the garden around the pool. He's really good, but I don't think any of them are potted. I think they're all in the ground.
Okay.
And I'll be lying if I've said I've been there to check it out, because I haven't. I'm supposed to move in, March 1st.
What?
Hey, good.
Finally? That's
I will
good.
officially be a resident.
Excellent.
That's awesome. They've been working on
Working.
the place, and you know, Florida.
Yeah, we
Time-
purchased in August, and then we literally gutted it and
Yeah,
started fresh, so.
yeah. And Florida time means that it was delayed a little bit, but yeah. Yeah, so,
But to get back to that, I think we definitely need to address it because as you have the rodents in one, it's not gonna be long before they're multiplying and moving
Well,
to,
obviously, they're multiplied
if all the bait's gone.
significantly if
Yeah.
they're eating the bait in 2 days.
Yeah. So we
With the
need to
addition,
kind of-
cause I think we have 8 or 10 boxes,
and I have, I think I have
2 more.
6 or 8.
and we had 2 more added,
Yeah.
so that's going up to 10 or 12, and they're slugging it all down.
Well, like Robin said, maybe the exclusion, will give you an idea of some of these spots. We can
You know.
also seal them up, work on that part of it, but I do think it's a combination of the two,
yeah,
agree.
you know?
And the southeast corner of our cluster is a problem.
Don't, which one? I don't know, south, north, south, east,
Oh,
west, or
the
this place.
back.
I don't pay attention to this place.
Right by her place,
Okay, gotcha.
back there,
Yes.
that's where we have found an awful lot of bedrooms. So, we just need to make a decision, I guess.
Can we get more bait boxes?
oh, we've had, so that does affect the question because I do want Drew to walk through the clusters to make sure that there are adequate bait boxes. We had received, somebody told me that a resident in cluster 1 found out that bunnies could get into the bait boxes, and this person actually removed some from the cluster courtyard.
That was a while ago.
It wasn't you, Tammy.
No, it wasn't me, no.
And so, and so I think it's important that we make sure that whatever their recommended distance between is actually in
Yep.
the courtyard. So Drew, I believe, will be back on Wednesday, so I'll ask him, to look into that, but yeah, don't touch them, please, because they do cost a lot of money, and let's be honest, they're disgusting. Even Wednesday when Drew was going into the bait boxes to put more in there, a rat came out asking to open, and, he does this for a living, so God bless him, but I probably would've started screaming. So,
I was like, when I was trimming yesterday, I was like right near one thinking, oh my God, if one came out now. Oh my God,
well, I mean,
I'd probably throw the clippers at it.
that dumpster, those 2 dumpsters down by 1 and 3, if it's 5 o'clock, nobody takes garbage down, because all of a sudden you start walking and they are coming in and out and scurrying and both of the dumpsters and along the fence line and,
They're like sharks, they come out at dawn and dusk.
It is
Sharks, rats, or crows,
There was
yeah.
a possum sitting on top of a dumpster the
I know,
other
I
day.
told her, in Buffalo, we had them like the size of cats.
And possums.
Rats?
possum kill that, I rest for that.
They
But-
Rats.
Yeah,
That
that
possums
just
are good,
gross.
and we.
We like the possums.
Yeah, and my, I mean, I don't want rats, I definitely agree with that, but my biggest problem with, poison is that there's so many other animals, like the hawks, and, you know, what, that can help take care of. So, okay,
So we did, so this new poison that we switched to is more lethal. I'm all about more lethal when we talk about rodents. But the previous poison, when the rats started eating into it, it would cause them to start bleeding internally, and they would just bleed, 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 and in some situations, close his ears, the rat would explode, and so we would see like flayed open, rats.
Guts?
Yep, just disgusting. This new poison is a neurological poison, and they need one bite of it, and he didn't know how long it took, but they will die, and they are not a danger to a cat or another animal who might decide, oh, this looks tasty, let me eat this rat. So that's a nice benefit of it. There was a dead one in front of the dumpster on Saturday evening. My father cleaned it up. Good job, Gary. And then today, when Drew was out on property, there was another dead one in there.
So the one you told me about the other day, your dad picked up?
Yeah, he picked that one out. And then the second one, Drew took care of today. Yeah, he
Thank
comes
you
out,
very much.
he's got a job. He's
We were
coming-
thinking the hawk got it or something,
Nope.
because they do have a friendly hawk around.
Yeah, so, the poison is working, and it is it's a better poison. It's gonna be more lethal, but it's not gonna damage or injure other animals who might choose to eat those disgusting things. So, yeah. Don't worry, I found that all out. Are we opening, one second? Anybody else on the board have anything to say about landscaping, rats, gardening, pest control?
I hate to say this, but I think we need to do everything possible to eliminate the problem. Nobody wants rats in their home. So, I don't know what to do.
Well, I mean, we have an owner in cluster one, bless her, she's petrified. She moved, as soon as she heard there was any sound of them in her unit, she moved to a hotel and incurred a pretty significant hotel bill. Her house was pretty much booby trapped with
Well, Jim
glue
was
tape,
the one that had to go and help her leave
snap,
every time she wanted to leave.
snap traps, glue traps everywhere. And as Drew said, it would have been impossible for a rat to be in that house and not die
Caught up with one
based
of
on
those.
where she had it all in her home. So, there's a lot of considerations for why we're talking about this. Now we're gonna go home and be afraid of having rats in our attic again.
You're asleep with your eyes open. Yeah, oh, you.
But, so nobody else on the board has anything? All right, let's go to Morgan, you look like you have a
Hey,
question.
yeah, I want to ask a question. Do you have a record, like I had huge rat problems. It was in 20, I believe, in December, January of 2020. And both my condo and the upstairs one it was all taken care of. I filled in holes and everything. I had rats, they were dancing behind the dishwasher, and I had a little bitty rat that came out and was drinking from my dog's bowl. I have it on video. And I had several, I don't know if it was 5 that was caught with me, but they come in also behind the stove. Behind the stove, they put in all kinds of stuff there to just close those openings.
Yeah.
And behind the dishwasher, that's a very good place they can come in and everything. So we don't have any problems with it, and I had them upstairs, and it was taken care of. So I was wondering if, everything was done in order to take care of it on that side at least.
Okay, good. I mean,
Well, that's a plus.
Definitely
Yeah.
not, because at least one owner found the holes behind there. A lot of times when they put in your appliances, they cut out a standard hole.
Yeah, that's why,
And that pipe
I mean,
only needs
yeah.
that little tiny spot of it.
Yeah, but all of that has been closed in my place at least,
Yeah.
and there has been nothing
Yeah.
later.
And you can buy it at the
Steel-
hardware store, it's
steel
like a
wool.
spray foam.
Or even steel wool. Steel wool you can put in there too, a very fine steel wool.
Yeah.
You can use for not only mice or rats, but other.
Yeah, the little one I had to finally take the last suggestion he got was like some candy, some candy, either was it gummy bears or something, and that was what we caught it with. The little one.
My gummy bears?
No, there wasn't no gummy bears. They were too
well, I know Drew uses bacon grease.
Yeah. I was worried if you.
Yeah.
And it's effective, so, I
But
mean.
one more
bacon-
thing regarding those plants and stuff, you say you're cutting down so it doesn't get too close to the house. Sometimes I don't believe that Jesus get them cut good enough. Some of those bushes needs to be hand clipped and not just swayed over with that little thing.
He goes
I know.
across it.
Well, I was,
How's he go to?
I was there yesterday, it wasn't himself, I was there yesterday, but I am tempted to go out and cut my own bush, right, it's not my bush,
Yeah,
but.
it's like across the, yeah,
And they're too wide.
I would go.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Mary,
Yeah, the garbage between cluster 4 and 5,
yeah,
the fence looks terrible that surrounds the garbage cans.
Joe's coming out. Janet,
Yep, what?
Joe
I'm
is-
sorry, what?
Joe is coming out, to, replace broken boards
Okay,
and do all that, and I think he's got 4 of them down by your dumpsters.
it looks like the whole cup. stuff
Yeah,
needs
it's
to be
4
done.
by you and 1 at the other one, but he was
Yeah.
gonna get us a price on the panels, and they're just
Yeah.
gonna bring them over and put them in.
Yeah,
Thank you.
so it's being cleaned up,
Okay.
yeah. Anybody else? Jim?
When you're worrying about the rats, you might wanna consider the downspouts on the gutters, cause they travel up through them all the time.
What are you gonna do with those?
Put 'em
That's
as
the
a-
problem, what do you do with them? You can't put a grate, cause then it collects all the dirt and then it floods
Yeah,
over.
it blocks it, and then they don't work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, rats, I said this
Especially
before,
black olives.
rats chew through concrete. If they wanna get
Yeah.
in, they'll get in. So you need to do the exclusion and make sure there's no holes in the soffit, no holes in the building, no holes on the outside. Everybody can do like this lady suggested and secure all the holes behind your appliances and whatnot on the inside. And then it doesn't, they can climb up and down the gutter all day, but they can't get in.
Right. So maybe if we really push for that, have them come out and find all the holes.
They
That's-
literally
I think that's
will.
a first.
He did plug one already,
I
so
think
he
that's a
just
good
caught one,
stepping
he
stone
plugged it,
first.
It's a good place to start.
yeah,
Yeah.
so, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, so we're just waiting for the quotes on the exclusionary services, but we can, I mean, we can still discuss the landscaping and like pots and all of that other stuff, and maybe we just wait until we have the,
The exclusion.
but we
Yeah.
can't approve the exclusionary work outside of the meeting, because it's not necessarily a work. Somebody's bored. But, yeah, we'll table it until the exclusionary work has been done, at least for cluster 1, because we don't know if everybody else is gonna want to do the same.
Well, if you know what it is, I mean, it's up to you guys, you already know, if you're going to approve it out of your building budget, just make a motion today to approve, I don't know, 2,000 across the board for each cluster, if that's what you want, up to 2,000.
Do you think it's, I mean, do you think though that 2,000 is what it's gonna come in at?
No, up to 2,000 per cluster.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's gonna be higher.
Oh, then you better wait. Yeah.
I have a feeling it's gonna be probably in the 4s.
Oh, okay.
I mean, 'cause that's what it was the last time. I
Yeah,
think
but look at the
24.
price of the other things of training, it went down, so maybe it will go down.
Maybe.
But we have to wait,
Yeah.
we have to.
You gotta do the
know where all
exclusionary
our
stuff
stuff is.
first. But we started talking about it. Okay, so the next one up is cluster master expenditures over 1,000.
Don't act like I'm prepared.
No, we only
Let's
have
at
the
least
one.
do the J and J.
Yeah, we only have the one.
Yeah.
No, I have mine.
Well, I'm not
Oh, yeah,
sure
you
we,
You have mine, right?
She's got a landscaping one.
I sent it to you from him.
She hasn't, she's
no,
got
you
53
sent
emails.
it today, right?
She's got 53 emails.
Yes,
I'll find it.
Yeah, I'm not there yet.
Okay, so for you, oh my goodness. Seriously, I would think that it was.
I'm still on Saturday night, Sunday morning emails.
Honestly, you'd think that it was a full moon. It's not a full moon, because I did check. Okay, so a proposal that came in was at the behest of Robin, for 1,700. Do you want to talk about what that proposal is?
Yes, it's a proposal for 1,700 because one of the black olive trees from the hurricane is leaning like this. And it's ready to, if we get strong winds, it could tip over. It was supposed to be removed last year. We never had money to do it. It's just getting worse. So I asked Jesus for an estimate and he gave me the estimate for that. In the process, there's a tree next to 6106 that you had scheduled to have her come to them on Thursday. Jesus said he would do that one as well for only $300. and grind the stone. So that's where that estimate's coming from, and also, there's another little black olive tree growing right next to the pool that I asked Jesus to move out of the pool yard so that all the stuff isn't going into the filter, and ask him to move it into the grassy knoll. And he said, yes, he would do that for $300. So all those three things combined came out to $1,700, so I was asking for a motion to approve it from the board.
All right, and, okay. Anybody else?
No, and then there's just the one for the master for 1120,
Okay, so
quarter
then,
for the podocarpus,
so then I need a motion to approve the J&J
for 1700.
invoice for $1,125 to install 15 podocarpus along 63rd for the master, and J&J for $1,700 for work on 3 trees in cluster 3.
I
Thank
can't
you.
make a motion, it's
Oh,
closer.
I'll motion.
There you go.
I'll
Nancy
second.
made the motion already,
Okay.
she's just quiet.
I'll second.
All right,
Thank you, ladies.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Trisha? Is she there? She might, I think she's.
I'm here.
Oh, you're
I keep swiping over to unmute myself, but hi.
She ditched us.
Any opposed? No, all right, so we'll go ahead and approve those. And I don't think,
I'm only gonna throw,
Nothing else.
I'm gonna throw something out there really quick. As many of you know, cluster 4, we've had a lot of issues with our pool this last year, whether it's our grids or, people pooping in the pool, or, you know, we have a big black olive tree. We have black olive trees, we have black olive leaves as well. A lot of things get stuck in the grate, but we've had a lot of, problems with phosphate levels in our pool. And in talking to Drew, and this is nothing, this is just something we're throwing out.
Corey.
Corey, thank you, I'm on Drew, but.
Drew put bacon grease in the pool, and therefore.
We had to go Corey.
You cannot.
Corey.
Moisturizes your skin.
Corey, he has thrown about the idea of saltwater pools. Converting our pools that are currently freshwater to saltwater. And, it's something to consider because 1, in the long term, it will reduce your chemicals. 2, it's better for your skin, your hair, it's better all around for the equipment. So there's a lot of pluses to it. He's willing to come to the board, come to a meeting, but it's just something I'm putting out there. I don't think any of us have the money for it. I'm gonna see if I do in cluster 4 because I have a big problem with mine. Yeah.
Do you know how much it is?
No,
No,
he
told me,
ballpark, about $4,000 pool.
each pool, yeah.
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 But if we did them all together, he might be able to work something out. You don't have to drain the pool, you kind of in essence
Yeah.
keep dumping salt in it.
change-
You just,
change
over a
the
period of time, you
balance.
change the chemical balance and it becomes a saltwater pool.
Hmm.
It's just something,
Less
it may be
odor.
something we consider next year, but just throwing it out there to everybody, something to think about.
We only dump salt in it in the beginning, and then you only dump salt in it if the salt content is low. The filter is the salt, it has sulfate. And
Okay.
it puts the salt in the water and generates and makes natural chlorine in the pool.
There we go.
I have a saltwater pool.
I think
That's the only reason I know that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I don't know anything about pools, don't act like I'm an expert, I just knew that topic.
Yeah.
So, question with that, will that save some of our expenses on like the grates and stuff that need to get replaced sometimes that are like $1,800 when we
No.
just did those? No?
But I think it's easier on them,
So maybe not as much?
because he said that it reduced the treatments that because I'm looking at the original email back in November, it reduced the treatments for like algae and phosphate treatments, which I know you've been dealing with a lot.
Our pool was out of commission for 3 weeks with phosphate treatments.
Mhm.
Yep.
And the big expense of putting those treatments in, which is how much?
I don't know.
I mean, it's easily $1,000 every time.
Yeah,
It feels
I've
like
had-
for you guys,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
we've
yeah.
had a lot of costs, so, but yeah, he did say that obviously there's an upfront cost, but it kind of pays for itself over time without having to have all the chemicals
How
and,
much time?
I mean, it might take, because if
I
it's
would
like
say 2
4,
or 3.
yeah, 2 or 3
probably.
years, but, it might be worth it, now if it means that it's gonna pay off in the long run, cause
Just throwing it out there, just
Yeah.
something to keep in your mind as we move forward.
just looking
That was
for,
it.
yeah. Yeah, so, anybody else on the board have anything, any contract proposals or? Okay, now we are up for owner Q&A. Kathy?
I have a question. So, I don't think it has to do with our cluster, I'm just teasing. But anyway, when you were sitting up here and you're talking about people with planters, that it's not an idea saying, I like a blue planter, you like a green planter, I don't, you know, it's not like kind of a personal thing. But when you were talking about the cleanliness and the safety of it drawing rats to our community, and it's also not gonna cost you a dime, is there anything that you can do to say, we're sorry, we're realizing that this is a problem for us, it's drawing rats to our property, you have 30 days to get rid of it? And like you said, it's not personal,
Right,
but
right.
it's something that, you know, we're all talking about, but if we all leave the room and then they're still living in everybody's planter for the next 3 months, you're sort of not helping the situation.
So you're asking like to give everybody a deadline, saying, is that
That's
what you're
just my
saying?
suggestion, I
Yeah.
mean, like I said, because you're
You're
talking
right.
about it, and if it's causing a problem, and like you said, it's not even like we have to say, hey, can anybody approve $500? We're saying, hey, folks, we have a problem here, and this is the problem, and it's not helping it, so can you please,
Take
get
care
rid of
of
them,
it.
or
It's
whatever
probably a good
your steps
idea.
are
It's
you
a
need to take
starting
to
point.
handle that problem.
It's a starting point and it's cheap. We send
We
an
have
email.
we have had a ongoing rat problem here for a long time. Cluster 2 has had a problem, mostly from my standpoint, on the other side, on the cluster, the side where
63rd.
we've been putting all the plants.
63rd.
But we have had some issues, but I personally have not had any rats, but I know that other side has been really bad. But we have to realize that we're clusters. They travel, everything
Right.
travels.
And you've
Once
got all these
something hits-
restaurants behind you.
Once something
you know?
hits, it travels. And that's what people don't understand. You know, they think this is just their one home, and they get pissed off about one thing, and they don't think about anybody else. And we have to get them to realize, look, understand that you like this and that, but when it comes to issues like this, like she's talking about, it's not about a personal thing.
No.
You know, and that's what we have to talk about. Now, Jeff and I went around, now we have little bit of a different issue because we have, we have what?
3 minutes.
3 minutes.
Okay, we have a little different issue because we have a lot of renters. We went around and we collected a lot of our potted plants because people come and go, and they never
Right.
clean their area.
Yeah.
And we've done it even with owners because of the fact that they don't clean their area either. And so we're down to almost hardly anything. And mostly in the front and just a couple. So we're down to like nothing.
Yeah.
Really. And I have one in my front that's a big one. We took down a big palm tree and I can't plant anything because they stumped it. So that's why I put something there. But, yeah, I mean, that's our
But
cluster.
it's a pot.
So the original question was, does the board wanna send an email or something out, or a letter?
It's a good
deadline?
idea. I'm all,
Or
I'm
do you
in
wanna
favor of it.
wait and just do that for
I think
specific?
we should wait until we get.
The exclusion. I think we do the exclusion first, see what we're
Yeah.
looking at, and then they.
Tell people not, then
And
after
then
that to.
once that's
And
done,
even if,
we're-
just if, while Drew's doing
In
that,
the
we can have that
meantime.
conversation with him as well, and,
Yeah.
because
I
we
think
don't
though in
know.
the meantime, like, it needs to be cleaned up.
Yeah.
Like that
Right,
one
that's
unit
it.
that, got quite, aggressive with us on Saturday, we need that cleaned up, period. And, but I think that we do the exclusionary, I can hardly wait to hear what you've got to say there, Janet, what you're reading there. We do the exclusionary work and then we come back and talk about it. I mean, it is, it is a problem, right? We need to clean it up one way or the other.
Please let me read it.
This is, I already, go ahead.
It's a response to the watering, it's not even, look,
Okay.
what a joke you guys just make up rules as lonely women who have no lives to when they have nothing else to do. It's just a joke, all of you are a joke. No one would ever hire you to have a real job or real company, it's full pathetic. All because I sent out the watering.
I'd love that person to see my schedule for this week,
Isn't this-
Or my email.
This person I don't think even has a job, so,
I'm just saying that's the kind of response we get from the people who are, they're either absentee like Susan and Jeff, they're either not here or they're here and they don't care. And no matter what email I send, no matter what letter I send, it's gonna have to be a
They think we
demand
just
or we're
made
just
up
gonna
that
do
whole-
it.
I like seriously, I thought about whether or not I was gonna say anything about what happened on Saturday. And we don't have a big group here tonight, but for anybody who's gonna watch afterwards, you know, we had, in cluster 1, we had Dawn, Roxy, and Mike from cluster 4 who